Hi, we're here today to talk about olive oil, which is a staple on the Mediterranean diet, which US News ranks as the #1 best diet overall. I'm Angela from US News.
I'm Jack from America's Test Kitchen.
And I'm Gretel, also from US News.
So, olive oil is the staple of the Mediterranean diet. It is the thing that is the common denominator, whether you're looking at the cuisines of North Africa, or Lebanon, or Turkey, or Spain, or Italy. And so you're going to both learn everything about how to buy olive oil and taste it. But first we're going to talk a little bit about health.
Right. Now, my grandmother's Greek, and she drizzles olive oil on everything. Now, I wouldn't necessarily recommend that, but olive oil is definitely a healthy fat. And part of that is because it's high in monounsaturated fatty acids. So if you were to replace saturated fats and trans fats, and those would be things like fatty meat, lard, butter, coconut oil, and replace those with healthy olive oil, you would definitely reap some health benefits. Part of the reason for that is also because they're very rich in polyphenols, which is a kind of antioxidant. Some studies have shown, for example, that they reduce your total cholesterol levels, including the bad cholesterol, LDL cholesterol. They reduce blood pressure, and in some cases they found to lower rates of diabetes and certain cancers.
I think one of the things that as a cook and chef, the folks at America's Test Kitchen love about olive oil is it's delicious. Now, a couple things. You want to respect the fruit, because this is really the juice of a fruit. I mean, that's really what olive oil is, and so minimally processed, which is also one of the big differentiators between olive oil and lots of other fats, is that it hasn't been really refined or processed, as long as you make sure that you buy extra virgin. So extra virgin means there was no heat or chemicals used in extracting the juice from the olives to be able to create this delicious olive oil. And so you get all of the flavor of the olives reflected in the olive oil. So that's first thing, is extra virgin.
So is that the same as cold pressed?
Yes, okay. Cold pressed is just another way of saying extra virgin. Okay. But cheaper oils, whether it's a cheaper olive oil or vegetable oils, they're using a mixture of chemicals and heat to get the oil out of whether it's a grain or a fruit or a vegetable that they're trying to extract that oil from. And so cold press literally is what it sounds like, that the olives are not heated. Second thing is dark bottles. So olive oil doesn't like light. Don't keep it on your counter in a pretty decanter, because it's really going to lose a lot of its flavor and go rancid quickly. So dark bottles rather than clear ones. And then also look for single origin. So if you read the label and you see, oh, the olive oil comes from 12 different countries, and you think, well, isn't that nice? No, that means it's basically an industrial product that they sourced from lots of different places, and you really want a state-grown, single varietal from a real place that was pressed and then bottled quickly. So before we taste, one other thing I want to tell you about shopping for olive oil. You need to read the label, and we like harvest dates at America's Test Kitchen because it tells you when the olives were picked. And basically the clock starts ticking and you have 18 months. And so if you see a use by date, they can really put whatever date they want on there. It's not regulated. And so look for a harvest date. It's usually, if it's from the Northern Hemisphere, so if it's from the United States or from Europe, it'll be a fall date. So usually October, November, December. And then the olive oil is good for 18 months. Then it begins to lose some flavor. It doesn't go bad immediately, but it loses some of its freshness. So are you ready to be a professional olive oil taster?
Absolutely.
So I'm going to just preface this, it's a little ridiculous, but this is how professionals do this. What we're doing is we're going to take the olive oil and we're going to aspirate it. So we're trying to break it into little droplets that will coat not just our tongue, but for our mouth. So I'm going to demonstrate. Now I've got two oils here. I've chosen the milder oil is on the right. So we're going to start with a milder oil, and I'm going to demonstrate, and then you're going to follow, okay?
Okay.
I promised ridiculous, right? Now it's going to get much more ridiculous because you're going to do it with me. Now, so this is the Gaia oil from Greece. It's buttery. It's what I would call a sort of mild crowd pleaser. So pick up your right hand. Do not drink all of this, okay? Just first, though, take a sniff. Use your nose. So much flavor comes.
No, it smells good.
Yeah, it smells like the Mediterranean.
And almost on a beach.
And then take a small amount and then break it into small droplets and let it coat your mouth. So I got grassiness, artichokes, almonds. Come on, you guys gotta help me here with your
I
adjectives.
have something spicy, like there's a spiciness to it.
Okay.
I just think it tastes good.
This is a delicious oil. This is one that I would say complements food rather than being more aggressive. So if the olives are picked earlier in the harvest, when they're less ripe, you get a greener, more peppery olive oil.
Peppery, that's what
That's peppery.
Yeah.
Oh, you think that was peppery?
Oh.
Wait till the olive oil on the left. So this one here is actually from California. So increasingly there's more really high quality olive oil made in California. This is from McAvoy Ranch in Northern California. And this is what I would call a big olive oil that's super peppery. So tread carefully, small slurps,
All right.
okay?
Wow. Peppery indeed.
It's peppery. I would say this one seems really fruity too.
It goes down smoother almost, but it is definitely more peppery.
It has, and the pepper I think tends to hit it in the aftertaste. So as it goes down, it burns a little bit.
It does, I feel that.
So this oil has a lot of personality. So if you're thinking about drizzling over something that just comes off the grill, this is going to be able to stand up to that in a way that perhaps the first oil might be better in a salad dressing. With it's a little bit more easygoing, and this
So more in the background, maybe when you don't want it to be the sort of the star of the recipe, or
yeah. And I think this is also about personal taste and finding what it is that you like. I happen to love the more peppery oils, but I would say half of my colleagues at America's Test Kitchen really would prefer the first oil that we tasted because it's more mild and it's got a lot of olive flavor, but it's not quite the bully that perhaps some people would think that second oil is. I just love the personality and assertiveness of a really peppery oil.
So from a chef's perspective, what about cooking versus baking?
Yeah, no, I will say that I think you can do everything with olive oil. That if you go to the Mediterranean, you see that they're making cookies and cakes. They're frying in olive oil. Now, I think olive oil is very expensive to be frying in, and frying isn't really everyday cooking. So I like to reserve olive oil for savory cooking where its flavor is going to add something. If you want an oil that has no flavor, well then don't choose olive oil because it brings something else to the mix. But it's fine for sauteing. The smoke point is a little lower than for the more refined vegetable oils, but that's really only a case if you're like working in a restaurant and heating the oil, and trying to reuse it, and that for home cooking, whether you're sauteing a chicken cutlet or sauteing some vegetables or maybe searing a piece of fish, olive oil's fine. I think the big thing is, if it's a really fine, expensive, extra virgin olive oil, heat will destroy a lot of the flavor. And so you may be not getting a lot of the flavor benefits if you end up cooking with that oil, and that a less expensive olive oil may be a better choice for cooking. And these two oils that we have in front of us, I really feel like are better for finishing. So whether it's using in a salad dressing or drizzling over food, because frankly they're too expensive to be used in an application where you can't really taste how wonderful they are.
Exactly,
And
great advice.
probably the heat would also destroy some of the health benefits as well, some of the antioxidants that are in the oil.
Yes. I mean, that is not going to make it better, and I think that's why olive oil is used so much in the Mediterranean unheated, whether it's to drizzle over foods or in dressings, and that you get both the health and the flavor benefits.
Win-win.
Yes, that is a win-win.
To learn more about olive oil, its health benefits, and how to use it, visit health.usnews.com.
And to check out thousands of recipes for America's Test Kitchen, go to our website, americastestkitchen.com, or our 2 Mediterranean cookbooks that show you all the amazing ways to cook with olive oil.
Thanks for coming,
Thanks.
Jack.
Thank
you.
you.